the kitchen was always a place for us, and you could smell in our apartment house where we live. If you were to go out to the store and come in on Saturday, you could smell the burning of hair in the hallway when you open the door. It was up and down that hallway because Saturday night was the time to do hair before Sunday. I read a lot of people's work about, they get very nostalgic, just like I did just then, about the hair. I think what we're nostalgic about is that communion of women, you know, that community of women who were together talking to each other. When you're a child, then you're around a family, you hear what they're talking about, thinking, etc. Or it's a time they might tell you about boys, or it's a time they might tell you about girl, keep your dress down, or it's a time, you know, that they tell you don't go outside with panties with holes in them. It's a time when something happened and information was transferred from mothers, stepmothers, friends of the family, female friends, etc., which is important. But the terrible things also happened too. In those same kitchens, someone put a perm in your hair, all your hair came out. Someone burned your hair, and it was burning. I mean, like people had to. I remember they would pat the hair with a cloth, with a wet cloth, because your hair was burning, right? So I mean, all those kinds of things happened too. I just think that it would have been so. I think because we wanted to imitate so badly, and our sense of identity and beauty was always going after other people, the dominant society's idea of beauty that was with this straight hair, that we at some point got lost. And all that, those good feelings were good feelings, yes, but also those good feelings could have emanated from another set of way of doing things.
I press my hair so it's silky smooth.
Gotta press my
hair.
So it swings and moves.
So it swings and moves.
I press my hair. Gotta make it straight. Gotta hit those edges. Gotta pull that kitchen. Gotta snap it now. So I press my hair.
I press my hair.
I press my hair.
Gotta get it straight.
I press my hair.
My mom grew up in this society, and the rules of the society are to look neat and to be groomed. And groomed to my parents and my grandparents in America is to be straight around the edges. So they got the hot comb out, and your edges had to be straight. If you got a relaxer, you had to hit them edges and make sure all of that was straight. So that coming from the face, you didn't see any kinks around here. You just saw, you know, straightness. So self-esteem and hair kind of don't go together where I'm from, because my role model for beautiful hair or just being beautiful period was Barbie, or the supermodels that we saw on television, or the newscaster that was talking about the people with the nappy hair.
I think a lot of what has happened to Africans here in America with regard to their hair is so much has been done to make us hate everything about ourselves and to only emulate things that are about the Europeans. So I think that hair, you know, curly hair, kinky hair, has been something that blacks in general, and still today, view as negative because it does not emulate the standard of the European, which is the straighter hair. You know, I know that my mother's generation, you know, going to the beauty parlor was a major event. And it was a necessary event. I mean, you know, women, whether they went to the fancy salon or whether they went to someone's home, it was a very, very important event. Not only was it important during the early, 50s, it was also very private. If you notice the salons during that time, you couldn't see into the salon. You know, women were always behind some kind of cubicle. You did not see a woman when her hair was in its natural state. You know, she only came out into the main area once her hair was done. You know, getting your hair done was, you know, a big, big deal. And how I think that affected people psychologically is that they never really came to appreciate themselves for their natural selves. You know, the beauty parlor is a transformative kind of experience, but, you know, the degree to which I think Africans indulge themselves in that, you know, they're really trying to transform themselves into something that's much more European, you know, and it has really, really very negative effects on, you know, their sense of self.
White is right. Lighter is better, you know, to children. I remember when I was a freshman in high school, all the girls I knew were trying to have boyfriends with light skin and curly hair. That was the like thing. That was beautiful to us. The same thing with me. If I would go to a party or somewhere with one of my friends that was darker than I was, I would get chose, you know, just because of the skin. I wasn't any smarter or any more beautiful or any more talented. It was just because of the skin.
Chose his honey 'cause she was brown. Chose his wife 'cause she was yellow. Chose his lover 'cause she was white. Red hair blowing in the wind. If you're black, get back. If you're brown, stick around. If you're yellow, there's a chance. If you're white, you're alright. But if you're black, get way, way back. If you're black, get way, way back. If you're black, get way, way back.
When I was in high school, I had a friend who didn't have any hair right here. And we would just talk about it all the time. Just all the time. Like, you know, one of the common things was when they didn't have any hair back here. We would say A is for apple, J is for Jack, Kim ain't got no hair in the back. You know, that was just one of the little things. And bald head, nappy head, you know, that was just some of the things that we went through. And in the back here, which we call this part back here the kitchen. And if this part wasn't straight, then they talked about it and called it BBs or buckshots. Yeah, so yeah, we all got teased. We teased one another. I teased people if the hair wasn't straight, because our understanding wasn't there for who we were and what we are, beautiful, beautiful people. We didn't know that. We were just going by the rules of society. So yeah, we all tease each other about having nappy hair. And that's just what we were taught as children.
My hair was very coarse, and the hairdresser used to keep the perm chemical in for a long time and tell me, you know, that the scabs on my scalp were necessary to truly straighten my hair. You know, baby, it's supposed to burn a little bit so you can get all these naps out. And as an act of convenience, not particularly through any increasing awareness of my cultural identity, I stopped getting my hair permed, and I literally cut it all off and wore a short afro and looked in the mirror one day, and I said, well, I don't really care what anybody thinks. This looks good. And I liked it. And then I just began to experiment with different styles, and liked the notion that I stood out and that the way I was wearing my hair was indisputably beautiful. And it worries me that black women are still debating because there's so many colors and hair textures among black people in the United States and Africa. It's often a waste of time for us to get engaged in these serious debates about who's more African, because it's not really the outer appearance that matters as much as practical acts of commitment and contribution to community.